The paramedics to help you now. Stand the line and I'll tell you exactly what to do next. He is an adult, is that correct?
I'm sorry.
How old is your son?
8.
He's 8?
The Peoria County State's Attorney also says the door to Navin's upstairs bedroom in this house had no knob and was tied shut, saying at times the 8-year-old was locked in the basement, beaten, starved, tortured, and imprisoned.
8-year-old Navin Jones weighed just 30 pounds when authorities found him in a locked room that was covered in urine and feces. He had signs of PA across his face, body, arms, and legs, and was unresponsive. He would never regain consciousness, and his life would end that day on March 29, 2022. Hello, my name is Holly. Welcome to the Murder She Shed for a rarely told true crime right from my she shed. Come join me and Simon back here, usually once, twice weekly, right here in my Murder She Shed, if you don't mind an Oklahoma farm girl who tells true crime and has a southern accent. If you do mind it, then just move on. Just move along. But if you enjoy it, just make sure you hit the subscribe button. When Navin was born to Stephanie Jones and Brandon Walker on December 7, 2013, he tested positive for narcotics. And he and his older brother were placed into DCFS custody. A baby that would have been the eldest sibling to the 2 other boys died at just 3 months old in 2006. Supposedly due to SIDS, but in an incident report indicated the death was due to circumstances surrounding evidence of unsafe sleep. The parents were still able to see Navin and his brother through visitations, and DCFS made a report that his mother, Stephanie Jones, had spanked Navin when he was 4 years old, hard enough to leave bruises. Navin and his brother remained in DCFS custody until 2017, when a court gave legal custody of both children to Brandon Walker's mother, Laura Walker, who lived in Washington, Illinois. His grandmother, Laura, said Navin was a sweet, loving boy with a great smile. He was full of personality and always happy. He loved to play with his dog and ride his bike and scooter. While Navin lived with his grandma, he had a happy life and was thriving. In the summer of 2021, Laura Walker had to take a trip out of state in mid-July because her mother's health was failing. She left Navin with his parents for what she thought would only be 2 weeks. When she went to pick Navin up from his parents' home in Peoria, Illinois, Navin told her he would like to stay there with his brother, but also his dad was putting up a fight about her taking Navin. So she just told Navin okay and kissed him goodbye. That day she left Navin, he weighed 43 pounds, which is an average weight for a small 7-year-old boy. Navin was not a large boy, he was small anyway, so that would have been basically the right weight for how small of a boy he was. Brandon often worked 7 days a week and sometimes even 12 hours a day at his car repair and towing business, so he was not home a lot. But Stephanie stayed at home with the boys and supposedly watched them. Brandon often brought Navin's older brother to work with him, but very rarely was Navin brought. On August 17th, Laura contacted both the Peoria Police Department and DCFS tip hotline again and reported seeing trash, clutter, and old food at the home. Friends of Navin Jones' parents said Stephanie's car broke down after the couple, along with Navin and his brother, drove to Florida to visit them, so they got in their car and drove them back home. The friends said they gave Navin a bath and clothes because he is filthy, and also let him eat as much food as he wanted because he appeared way too skinny. For 3 days, Navin was able to eat anything he wanted: pizza, candy, slushies, and other snacks. The couple brought him dinners and meals as well. When they got back to Peoria, Navin was playing with the couple's grandkids and was acting like a normal kid and having the best time. The same couple said Navin was respectful, appreciative, and well-mannered. Navin's parents, however, claimed he had behavioral issues. They said he had a habit of drinking urine and throwing feces and also eating feces. He would eat out of the trash can because he is so hungry, and that would further anger his parents. While DCFS made several attempts to visit the children, it wasn't until February 2022 when a DCFS investigator visited the home and observed Navin to be gaunt, sickly, and very thin. She said he spent about 15 minutes with Navin and saw him eat popcorn and drink juice. Navin had what CPS called pick marks on his hands and told the caseworker it was because that they itched. Brandon told her he could not give Navin into the doctor because he did not have custody of Navin, even though Brandon had actually taken the older brother to the doctor several times. Navin needed to go to the doctor. He looked exceptionally skinny. He had sores on his hands, and the DCFS worker knew that he looked bad and he needed to go. But instead of actually giving this child back to grandma so she could take care of it, send him to school, and actually feed the child, she decided it would be best to get grandma to sign over a temporary consent waiver for Navin because of the health issues. The caseworker said that is the only way Navin would be able to see a doctor. Laura was scared for his health, and so she signed the paper, even though she did not want to. The DSFS worker received the guardianship paperwork from Laura Walker in the mail on March 29, 2022, the day Navin died. On February 24th, CPS came to the home again about reports of the older brother being forced to work at his dad's business, which they put in the report it was human trafficking. And the parents said it wasn't happening, so I guess the caseworker just left and said, okay. There were several reports to DCFS about Navin and his family. Here are some of the allegations the department investigated over the years. Spanking, causing bruised buttocks. Children not enrolled in school. Blue and black eyes after a fall down the stairs. Navin allegedly got in trouble for getting up in the middle of the night and eating chicken that his mother had prepared for her dogs. Stephanie would also lock Navin in the basement when she wanted a nap or just didn't want to deal with him. After all these allegations, the boys still remained with their parents. 2 nights before Navin passed away, Brandon watched a movie with the boys. Brandon stated Navin seemed fine and walked up 2 flights of stairs in order to go to bed. Brandon said he rarely went to his son's room and was not often there to feed them meals due to his long work hours. But that night he was actually able to enjoy a movie with his kids, and they watched a remake of Freddy Krueger. According to Brandon, Navin loves scary movies. On March 29, 2022, Peoria police officers responded to the family's house at 1717 Gill Avenue at 2:40 in the afternoon after Stephanie called 911 reporting that Navin was found cold and lifeless and that she had tried to put him in the tub to warm him up. Sadly, the first minute of the call was about how evil a child Navin was, instead of, my child is not breathing.
The address you need the ambulance at?
1717 North Dale.
Is that a house? Is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Okay, what is your callback phone number?
Damn it. I'm sorry.
What's your phone number? Tell me exactly what happened.
My son, since I got him from his grandmother's after she threw him out, he's been doing a lot of really weird things, like drinking his own urine. He's pooped all over the house, smearing it everywhere. Sometimes he'll eat a whole bunch. Sometimes he doesn't want to eat at all.
Okay. What's he doing today, ma'am?
It's getting late, so I'm sorry.
What's happened today?
I went upstairs because I hadn't heard from him and found him unresponsive on the floor.
Is he breathing?
No.
Okay. I am sending the paramedic.
I CPR before I called you guys, and I can't get anything.
Okay. Is there a defibrillator available? If so, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
I don't have one.
Okay. I am sending the paramedics to help you now. Stay on the line, and I'll tell you exactly what to do next. He is an adult. Is that correct?
I'm sorry.
How old is your son?
8.
He's 8?
Yes.
Okay. Are you with him right now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to help you. I know you said you've tried CPR, but we're going to go through this, okay? Tell me when you're ready. What's your name? Ma'am, what's your name?
Stephanie Jones.
All right, Stephanie, listen to me. Are you home alone?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to lay him flat on his back on the ground and remove anything under his head, okay? Tell me when that's done.
I removed his clothes and he was cold, so I put him in the shower and used the hose. I don't know what to do.
Okay, how long ago did you find him?
Maybe 10 minutes ago.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do compressions. I'm going to tell you how to do chest compressions. I want you to place the heel of your hand on the breastbone in the center of the chest, right between the nipples.
Okay. I gotta put you on speaker.
That's fine. Please do that, Stephanie.
Okay.
I want you to place the heel of your hand on the breastbone in the center of the chest, right between the nipples. Put your other hand on top of that. I want you to pump the chest hard and fast, at least twice per second and 2 inches deep. Please let the chest come all the way up between pumps, and we're going to do this until help can take over. I want you to count out loud so I can count with you, okay?
Okay.
Start.
Yeah, I think they're here. Someone's knocking on my door.
Although Navin had become unconscious around 8 p.m. the night before, he was not checked on until the next day in the afternoon. Laura had been in Indiana with one of her sons when she got a call from the hospital. As Navin's legal guardian, they wanted permission to stop efforts to keep him alive. His grandma rushed to the hospital and when she arrived, touched the shoulder of the little boy whom she had cared for all of his life. Laura said that he didn't look human. She touched his shoulder and there was nothing there but bone sticking out. There were bruises all over his little face. She said, I've never seen a human being that thin. He was like a little skeleton. And if you look at these pictures of him 2 months before he died, you can see that he basically looks like a Holocaust victim. He was so thin and frail. Look how his cheeks are just sunken in. It's just heartbreaking. I can't imagine as a grandmother getting that kind of call. It couldn't be nothing worse than that.
Ma'am, I'm sorry to have to tell you, but through all our efforts, there's nothing that we can do further.
Oh my God.
Do you guys have time?
Just call him now.
The cop just told me.
What the fuck do you mean?
They cannot resuscitate him. That's what the fuck I mean.
There's no fucking way! There's no fucking way!
I've been telling you and the DCFS bitch that he needed to be seen.
You guys are putting all your business out in front of everybody like that.
That his behavior was not normal.
Just to make sure it was 8:15 last night.
No, this. What do you mean?
That you last saw him.
Yeah.
Last
Yeah.
night.
Which bedroom is Navin's? Or do they share a bedroom?
No. His is the one on the right.
So I go up the steps and it's to my right?
After officers entered the family's home, they noticed it was a fairly large house with a front room full of plants and a big screen TV. The house was cluttered, but it was a normal clutter from a family of 4. Papers, toys, cups, and food. Several plastic shelving units and totes were seen to hold a wide array of items. It gave the sense of a family that had a lot of stuff, but not enough room for it all. The bathrooms were fairly clean. The kitchen was a bit disheveled with items on the floor and the counters. The fridge and pantry were completely full of food. It's not like they were short of food. And they had so much stuff, you know they weren't short of money. You know money wasn't the problem when it came to feeding this child. Navin's brother room showed toys thrown throughout, a TV with an actual gaming system, and a fully made bed with nice carpet. A normal looking room for a 12-year-old boy, but Navin's room was far from normal. Navin's bed looked filthy. There were no sheets or pillowcases on his bed, just a urine-soaked mattress. The carpet was old and worn. He only had one dresser and one toy. Although his brother's room was full of toys, he had this one little toy in his room. They said that he would throw toys out the windows and break them, so they didn't give him any toys. The closet door was locked, but upon opening it, police said it smelled of urine and feces. One detective described it like nothing he had ever smelled before. He said there were bedding on the basement stairs that had the same smell. So basically, the little boy was also confined to the basement at times. The door to the bedroom did not have a doorknob and instead had a rope where the doorknob should have been. The rope was being used to tie his bedroom door shut. There was a note taped on the bedroom door written by Stephanie herself. It instructed Nathan's brother to not give Nathan any food or water or let him out overnight. Authorities seized the couple's cell phones and found cryptic text messages. One text showed Brandon wanted to put Nathan in the basement as punishment for urinating on the wall. There was also a text from Stephanie that said Nathan had been trying real hard to get his hands out from being tied together. Another text said Brandon knew Nathan was losing weight and needed to go to the doctor. So he obviously knew. How could you not know when your child looked like a Holocaust victim? A text from Stephanie said he should have woken me up and I would have opened the door. His excuse was that he didn't want to wake me up, talking about the reason that Navin used the bathroom in the floor. I'm sure the child was just too scared of the witch to wake her up. Stephanie texted about punishing Nathan by tying him to a banister or forcing him downstairs without pillows or blankets. At one point, Stephanie asked if she could leave Navin downstairs whenever she's sleeping or gone in response. Brandon says okay and makes a flirty comment. During the police interview, Brandon said Nathan was held in his room with a rope around his door because he would sneak out at night and raid the fridge or make a mess. He also said that Nathan would eat dog bones because he liked the taste, not because he was starving. Have you ever heard of a child liking the taste of dog bones? That's the most ridiculous statement I have ever heard in my life. You barely eat dog bones, don't you? Also, Brandon said Nathan would eat a ton or nothing at all. He would have to force him to eat sometimes. Nathan only weighed 30 pounds and was emaciated and had lost the fat layer under his skin. His muscles had begun to atrophy, and the ME didn't believe Nathan would have been able to make it up those 2 flights of stairs 2 days before after watching a movie with his father. So basically, she thought that was bullcrap, that he was saying that he could have climbed those 2 flights of stairs because his muscles were so weak at that point. He couldn't have climbed anything or basically even got up.
How does he eat? Like a horse. And then he'll go like 2 or 3 days and he won't really eat much. We get into the refrigerator and stuff like that and she's all over.
Who told you you couldn't take him to the ER?
Nobody.
So why was
I don't know. I didn't realize things were as bad as they were, I guess.
Navin had bruises and other wounds, including bruising around the wrist consistent with someone being restrained. The bruising on Navin's body was caused by blunt force trauma, and there were old and newer injuries. Navin's death was ruled as failure to thrive due to malnutrition. He went into cardiac arrest because of the starvation. It was consistent with months of starvation that could have been continuous or interrupted. In December, Brandon Walker was found guilty on 2 counts of first-degree murder and could now face life in prison for the death of his 8-year-old son. Brandon tried to lay all the blame on Stephanie, saying that he was always working and just didn't know Nathan was in such bad shape, nor what meals he's being fed. No one fell for his act, thank God. I mean, how could you look at that child and say, I don't know, there's not anything wrong with him. I can't tell that there is. How can you look at that face and say that? Stephanie pled guilty and will be sentenced in February. It's just so horrible what little Nathan had to endure in his short life. He was buried at Swan Lake Gardens in Peoria. What a horrible life. If he had just been left with his grandmother, he would have had the best life, I'm sure of it. She tried and tried to get the police to come. The police wouldn't take him away. DCFS would not take that child away. And she had custody, is what the crazy part of it is. And yet he was left with these evil, evil parents. We just need to figure out what's wrong with the system and maybe get it fixed somehow. I don't even know the answers. I wish I did, to stop all this cruelty, because we cannot stand cruelty, can we? We don't like it. Anyway, as soon as I say these words, he's going to start acting up. Anyway, I love you guys. Yes, I knew it. And I hope y'all have a great week. And make sure you hit the subscribe button. You want to be able to see this ornery little boy and me here weekly. And as always, thank you for being the best subscribers. And I love y'all. Bye. Didn't throw a fit to all that. What's up with that? Too cold outside to throw much of a fit, isn't it? Okay, get up. What's happening now? What are we going to do? I keep having spiders in here. I don't know what it is, but I've been having the giant freaking spiders. I mean, it's wintertime spiders. It's cold in here. Why would you want to be in this little murder she shed? I'm going to murder these little spiders. That's the only thing that's ever been murdered in here, but I might just murder them. I'm sorry if you're a spider lover. I don't like them. I prefer to stay far away from them. Itsy bitsy spider climbed up the murder she shed. Down came Holly's fly swatter and squished the spider out. I bought this ceiling fan from my bedroom that's actually a giant windmill. It's a real windmill they made into a fan. I got it in Texas. You know, Texas makes everything big and better, or they say they do. Anyway, I bought it there, and I'm so excited. It's going to go in my bedroom, and I painted. Well, I'm working on this painting. I'm definitely not finished with it. And my husband goes, the windmill's way too short in my painting, so I'm going to have to take it back off and start back over and make a bigger windmill. Apparently he likes big things, I guess. That is, if you don't mind a southern accent, we'd love to have you. If you do, quit moaning about it and just move on. Sick of people saying, I can't stand your accent. Well, move on. There's other people on YouTube that you can watch that doesn't have a southern accent. Just take your fingers, push stop, and I'm in a bitchy mood today because they're screwing up on my house again. We got half logs inside of our living room. I'm about to freaking do it myself because the people we hired to do it has wasted so many half logs, and they are expensive. And they cut them wrong, and they're just really pissing me off. I'm about to send them home and say, I'm going to do it myself. I can do a lot better job, and I know I could. I build furniture. I do stuff all the time. Tell me what we're going to do. Oh, you jerked my ear thing. That was bad. All right. Love y'all.
Devil in the red.